Good morning. I need to begin with a caveat. The United States government recognizes the existence of over 300 religions and denominations in America, and many of them would be suitable for today's talk. Today's message, however, will focus on Christianity simply because it's a religion that most of us here know something about. There are bunches of surveys and polls about religion in America. I do not put much stock in these surveys because numbers are more easily manipulated than New Year's resolutions. Even so, let's look at a few. One faith-based survey claims that 39% of U.S. adults attend worship at least weekly, while a non-faith-based survey puts that number of American church attenders at about 10 to 15%. One survey found that 52% of women and 48% of men identify with a particular religion, and that women are the majority of 21 out of 25 Christian denominations. The result of an ABC News Report survey found that 42% of Protestant men, but only 26% of Catholic men attend church weekly. Lastly, a California survey found that 77% of women, but just 65% of men, say their faith is very important to them. Blah, blah, blah. Even though these surveys are all over the place, they're completely consistent on one thing. Women are significantly more likely to be interested in attending church. More numbers. Of the 33 pro football teams, only 3 drew less than 1 million stadium attending fans. And one of those was Buffalo. Go figure. 76% of American men watch football on TV. And an estimated 150 million Americans will watch this year's Super Bowl. That's more than the estimated 30 to 60 million people who will be in church today. Last bit of perspective. There are 800,000 UUs worldwide and less than 200,000 in the United States. That means that more people went to root for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who at 942,000 fans had the lowest attendance of any NFL team in 2011, than there are UUs in the world. If we use Quakers in this comparison, not only would the stadiums be emptier, but they'd be a lot quieter. Football is religion. If you're disturbed to disagree with that statement, consider the words of Los Alamos, New Mexico UU Reverend John Cullinan from his newsletter of June 2010. Quote, I think where we get stuck in this conversation is around the traditional idea of what religion means. Belief in a deity, a creedal checklist, some sort of stark moral absolutism. All this is wrapped up in what many people hear when they hear the word religion. And while that is certainly a definition of religion, it is not the only definition of religion. And as Reverend Morales notes in his column in the current UU World, and as every first-year seminarian hears ad nauseum, religion derives from the Latin to bind together. Religion, then, at its best, is a practice in connection. If there's anything truly sacred in this world, it is the connections between us. End quote. It appears UUs have come down firmly, standing on the side of football. Of course, there's an irony in this, that most UU congregations spend little time participating in congregational full-contact sports. A year ago, we had a sack race, or a potluck. Some of you may remember. Later, we had to form a committee and analyze how it might have affected our image. Bird watching is about as sporty as we get. If we go with the UU definition of religion, football qualifies. And if we go by the aforementioned numbers, we can see that it is the religion of choice for men. Let's consider a point-by-point comparison between Christianity and football, and we'll tally up an appeal score. For a point of reference, think of a Christian denomination you are familiar with. Any of the major denominations will work just fine. Because Catholicism has been around for hundreds of years and many of us are familiar with its basic structure and rites, we will often refer to the Catholic Church in our comparison. This is merely for the sake of convenience. Once again, please keep in mind almost any Christian denomination would do. Here we go. Category 1, structure. Christian denominations in football both have classic business structures and have been associated with fabulous wealth. Catholicism has a pope, cardinals, and priests who are attached to specific churches. Football has a commissioner, franchise owners, and coaches who are attached to specific teams. And as some of you know, football also has cardinals. None of this here has much to do with appeal, so we'll call this one a draw and award 1 point to each. Category 2, calendar. Both have a fixed calendar year, and both share or compete for the same day of worship, Sunday. Football, due to its greater success, has also usurped Mondays and even an occasional Thursday. This one goes to football. Score 1 point. Category 3, worship service fundamentals. Christianity and football both have fixed meeting times for worship. A church service has hymns like Onward Christian Soldiers, while football has fight songs like Fly Eagles Fly. Anybody out here can sing that for us? A church service sometimes has a drinking ritual known as communion, where worshipers drink a very small unit of wine in front of the church. Communion for football fans is a more wide-open affair. Football fans can enjoy their beverages on tailgates, in kitchens, living rooms, before the service even begins, and they're not restricted to wine. Church services use foreign, obscure, and obsolete language that few worshipers understand. How many Christians know the meaning of Pax Hominibus, Caritas Christe Urge Nos, or Motu Proprio? Football fans care and understand the language, the sacred language of their church. They know and appreciate the meanings of blitz, zone coverage, and ineligible receiver. Football is so clearly the choice here that we will award it 2 points. Category 4, rule books. Football and Christianity both have rule books that govern behavior. In Christianity, minor infractions result in minor penalties like additional prayer time. In football, minor infractions may result in a 10-yard penalty. As we move to more serious offenses, major differences appear between Christianity and football. In football, depending upon the severity of the major offense, a player may be ejected from the game, suspended for a couple of games, or, and this is quite rare and only called on for the most egregious offenses, be suspended from league play for life. In Christianity, major offenses result in eternal damnation. There are also significant differences between Christianity and football as to what you get penalized for. In football, you get penalized for such things as having too many men on the field or holding. On the other hand, Christians get into serious trouble just for thinking naughty thoughts. And how about that, thou shalt have no other gods before me? That punishment can be visited upon one's children for 3 or 4 generations. Football fans do not get in trouble for watching baseball or basketball. And even if a pro player is banned for life from the NFL, his son or grandson can still play. It is easy to see why guys favor football in this category. But just in case Christianity is right about the damnation thing, we will only award 1 point for football. Category 5. Both cost money. Football fans have to pay for special cable packages, jerseys, coffee mugs, posters, and lots of other things. Season tickets cost about the same as sending a child to college. Christian churches are way easier on the old wallet. All we need to do is toss in a few dollars when the collection basket goes by, or make a voluntary pledge. And you can still go to the church game even when you haven't paid your pledge. Score 1 for the churches. Category 6, uniforms. Priests wear robes and nuns wear habits. Football players get to have all kinds of cool stuff on their uniforms, like panthers, lightning bolts, even Seahawks. And how cool is that? Cheerleaders get to wear, well, not much really. This category is an easy one for most guys. Score another point for football. Category 7, divine intervention and miracles. This is a tough one. Many Christians talk about how God was looking out for them and kept them from harm's way when the disaster struck. But what about their church-going Christian neighbors? Why wasn't God looking out for them? And lots of people struggle with the God works in mysterious ways concept. Football is just as fuzzy in this area. How is it that the Eagles were blessed with a miracle reception one week and then cursed with an undeserving miracle reception by the opposition the next week? Neither football nor Christianity deserve a point on this one. Category 8, saints. Amen. I hear you, brother. No player for the NFL Saints has ever been burned at the stake. Even during the bleakest years of the NFL Saints' history, the worst thing the fans endured was to voluntarily wear bags over their heads. Anybody? How many remember that? The Aints.
Still have my bag.
Remember my thing about I weigh 125 pounds? I'm not messing with them. While Daniel of the Bible set the precedent for defeating lions on their home field, he did not score 45 points like the NFL Saints did recently at the Lions' Den. And here's a real bonus. In football, you get paid big bucks to be a saint. For most guys, there's a lot less appeal in being a Christian saint. First, let's look at how many Christian saints got their start. The following information came right off the Wikipedia page for Christian. Yeah, all right. For Christian martyrs, although we're only interested in the saints on this list. Here they are in order. Saint Stephen, stoned to death. Saint Andrew, crucified. Saint Mark, dragged in the streets of Alexandria, then beheaded. Saint Peter, crucified upside down. Saint Bartholomew, flayed alive and crucified. There's no question that many Christian saints lived admirable lives of selfless sacrifice. However, football saints have the option of living honorable lives without fear of crucifixion. Score a point for football. Although many other points of comparison can be made, we'll end with just one more. Category 9, serving others. An important cross-denominational Christian value is the idea of personal sacrifice for others. Examples may range from feeding and sheltering those in need to working for social justice. There's no attitudinal equivalent in the religion of football. We will award a point to religion. The final tally, football 7, Christianity 3. Statistical data and the results of my profound point-by-point comparison reveal that the religion of football is more attractive to men than the current versions of Christianity in America. So what's church to do with the man problem? One of the popular responses among Christian denominations is to do what is known as remasculinization, which is a direct response to the feminization of Christianity, which is what the remasculizers think is what drove men away. Author David Murrow, a strong advocate of the remasculinization of Christianity, feels the Christianity change in the late 19th century. Quote, boldness and aggression were out. Passivity and receptivity were in. Christians were to be gentle, sensitive, and nurturing. End quote. It seems the Christian church that brought us such glories in the name of God as the Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, and the Salem witch trials has apparently lost its edge. The following passage is from an interview in which Murrow discusses his book entitled, Why Men Hate Going to Church. Quote, I truly believe women must play a key role if men are to return. Because women dominate in attendance, leadership, and volunteerism, they hold great sway in the local church, even if they don't realize it. Women must humble themselves, pray, and allow the men of the church to lead the body towards an adventure. A frightening adventure. A we've never done it that way adventure. End quote. I agree with Morrow on one point, that this return would make for a frightening adventure. However, I do not think I care to accompany Christianity in what may prove to be a stumbling backwards walk. I wonder if modern Christianity took a deep and honest look at itself, that it might find that its problem has less to do with testosterone and more to do with its insistence on clinging to used-up interpretations of archetypal mysteries. So how should a Unitarian Universalist respond to the man problem? Sorry, but I do not have an answer. Here are a few thoughts that I have on the subject. First, I do not go to Sunday services to indulge in the rough and tumble stuff that's associated with the real man stereotype. When I want that, I go to the football church or some other sports church. Sports religions are easy, fun, and readily available. In these churches, I get to experience genuine camaraderie and know that the congregants will take care of me in times of need. We can grunt, swear, and punch as we celebrate bestial aspects of our nature that were essential for survival a long time ago. And doing a touchdown victory dance with a bunch of guys wearing Eagles jerseys in front of a TV is probably better for the world than doing a victory dance dressed in fatigues in a foreign land over a fallen body of a so-called enemy. I come to our UU religion for different important reasons. Like most people, I am not a simple, one-dimensional person. I am strong, weak, good-looking, and ugly. I am right-thinking, wrong-thinking, knowing, and ignorant. These aspects of my being can be explored here in the loving presence of other like-minded seekers. Being a member of this faith-based community helps me to prepare additional surfaces in my being for new wonders and experiences that continually come my way. It provides me with challenges and opportunities for growth that are not easily found elsewhere. Here is a place where we can celebrate the inherent worth and dignity in every person, and an attitude of service to others and our planet is the norm. Here is a place where working for social justice is active and ongoing. I believe that as long as we continue to be guided by our 7 principles, we will be a welcoming, attractive, and valuable religion for now and into the future. So I, for one, am not worried about serving 2 gods. In the end, I would like to leave you with this question. Are you ready for some football? Please rise in body or spirit to the song, Do You Hear, on page 112.